This year might be a new record with how many features and little things have been removed from FC25 that not only impact the overall experience, but career mode as a whole. We're out here being robbed of greatness, and I'm here to bring all the removals to your attention because EA won't announce them, and they'll most likely slip through the cracks and be forgotten about upon FC25's release next month. Honestly, I didn't think EA would stoop to these lows, but here we are. So let's put them on Fraud Watch to see if this new game is all that it's cracked up to be. Is it worth your hard-earned money with game prices being at an all-time high, or is it a shell of its former self? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but who else is going to put EA on blast like this and keep him in check?
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
First up, we're going to talk about a few heavy hitters here. We are not getting a demo this year. It's been that way for like the past 3-4 years now, since our FIFA 21. So only if you qualify for a closed beta code and EA sent you an email, then you can play the game more than a month early in its full state. That's how we're getting leaks thrown out left, right, and center, all over Twitter, all over Reddit. And that's how I know the majority of this information, slash a few inside sources that are feeding me the exclusive info to tell you guys. First up, we're going to talk about a major one. It is removed team/leagues. It's no secret anymore that both Inter and AC Milan will appear unlicensed in FC25. Not only will the kits and badges be generic though, but their stadium, the San Siro, the Giuseppe Meazza, whatever you want to call it, will be removed from the game. So one of the most iconic stadiums, not only in Italian football, but in the world, you're not going to be able to play in it in FC25. And it's more bad news if you're an Italian football fanatic like myself. Atalanta in their new arena, the Gevis Stadium, newly renovated, will still be exclusive to PES and eFootball. They will also be back in their generic state. Bergamo Calcio, welcome back. We have another newly crowned generic team, and that'll be Monza, as their exclusive rights will be in eFootball just like last year, but this time they're not able to be in FC for some reason. And along goes their stadium, the U-Power Stadium, a unique and boutique ground that I've actually visited in real life on an away day, and I loved my time there. So it's a shame that we don't get to see it in FC25. Another Italian stadium gone or still missing is the Diego Armando Maradona, Napoli's home ground, despite them returning to FC25 in their fully licensed state. Konami still have that exclusively in eFootball, despite Napoli returning in all their licensed glory for FC25, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And joining that list, of course, is the Stadio Olimpico, despite Roma's comeback. Both them and Napoli will be fully licensed. Unfortunately, Lazio will still be Latium, and the iconic Roman footballing theatre will go missing again and stay exclusive to eFootball. So you can pretty much rule out an Italian-based career mode if you don't have mods, because 16 out of 20 teams will actually have the proper licenses, proper kits, proper logos. So the authenticity levels aren't at an all-time high. They're kind of dropping when it comes to Italian football. Serie B was removed for ages, and then it came back in FIFA 23. Konami also have exclusive rights for the Japanese J-League and the Mexican Liga MX. So we won't be seeing those leagues return, and most likely we'll have a bunch of unemployed free agent Mexicans to go wild with in career mode for Season 1. EA have hit the Mexicans for a hat-trick 3 years in a row, where the Mexican free agents are going to be overpowered as hell, but we'll be there. And now moving on over to France, we've all heard the news about Bordeaux declaring bankruptcy, literally unable to afford a professional license, so they've been relegated to the 3rd or 4th tier of French football. A once former French giant has now stumbled all the way to the bottom and collapsed, so therefore they're removed from FC25. They won't be playable, alongside some other youth academy teams that got relegated last season, such as Villarreal B, who finished rock bottom in the Segunda Division. They won't be in FC25. Same goes for SC Freiburg too. They were relegated to the 4th tier of German football, which isn't in FIFA. And in the league side of things, there are no new leagues or competitions to boast about in FC25. EA haven't announced anything, nor have any new partnerships or rumors been flowing around, so I guess we're stuck with the same teams, maybe a couple new ones in rest of the world, but no new actual leagues or new divisions to look forward forward to or start a new career mode save. We're stuck with the same number of leagues and same number of teams, and we won't be seeing any new stadiums returning, such as Barcelona's Camp Nou, which is currently under renovation, under construction right now, being built into the state-of-the-art Spotify Camp Nou, which will be done in like 3-4 years time. So hopefully by the time the stadium's complete, EA will have the licenses back from eFootball and they can get to add the brand new stadium back in. But for now, Barca are going to still be playing at that generic stadium, and so will Bayern Munich. The Allianz Arena, it's the same deal. It's exclusive to eFootball 2025, a game which doesn't even have a career mode to play with the stadium, so God knows why they need it. But you know, it's in Madden, the American football game, so make of that what you will. Make it make sense. Next up, we have some removed positions/formations, and this is to do with the new FC IQ, the brand new team management system that'll be replacing the old tactics and the old team setup from what we've come to know for like 10 years now. Look, I don't know why they've done this. I can't pretend to know, but for some reason they have removed the 4-3-2-1 formation, 4-4-1-1, the 4-3-3 fifth variation, and the 5-2-2-1. Why they were removed? Gun to my head, EA are just EA. I can't explain that. And something else they've taken out of the game is the center forward position, left wing back, and right wing back. They no longer exist in the game because with the new player roles, you can kind of get your striker to be a center forward. You can reapply it, but again, I've got no idea how this new customization, these new tactics work. All I know is that they're not in the game. The formations one is weird because I thought you could always like customize your formation anyway. You know, when you're like dragging the players across the pitch, forming and customizing your own vision, your own formation, and it just sets itself to something different. But apparently you can't do that anymore, and you kind of have to implement it through the new player roles and figure out what formation your team is with and without the ball. You can't really drag the player across the pitch and adjust anything. We'll see what it's like when we get the actual game in our hands, but what else has been removed is work rates. Low, high, medium, attacking, and defensive work rates are just no longer exist anymore. They've been in the game for God knows how long, and EA have just decided to give them the boot. I think they're just in the mood every year to like remove a random feature. Close their eyes and throw a dart, and whatever it lands on, that's what they're removing. These are just so random. And speaking of tactics, those little in-game commands and prompts you could activate with the D-pad on the controller just won't be in the game anymore. So you know how you can do ultra attacking, ultra defensive. All those little D-pad controls have been completely wiped. Whilst we're on the topic of wiping things from existence, Volta, yes, the entire game mode Volta Football has been deleted. A game that EA tried so hard and put every single marketing dollar into. They wanted it to be their new baby, the new FIFA Street that was going to set them apart from the rest and be the new biggest game mode. But unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. They tried the Pro Clubs integration, they tried the microtransactions, they tried the crazy cosmetics and game modes and mini games, even the single player story in some of them, but nothing seemed to have sticked. They didn't get the traction and profits they wanted from it, so it just becomes yet another removed feature in FIFA history that I'm sure people will miss one day, but right now, people just don't really play it as much as EA want them to. The arcade mode was kind of cool and set it apart from anything we'd really seen before. People famously claim that it's basically just playing FIFA, normal gameplay in a small corridor. It's kind of sad because I thought it could kind of live its own life and live in its own little corner of the game, whilst they've tried to rebrand it into this new rush mode with the 5v5, smaller pitch, blue cards, crazy rules, no offsides, kind of new way of playing, how they've implemented it into every game mode. And speaking of player career mode, you still can't ask to be transfer listed or loan listed. You're gonna have to do it all through your player agent or qualify for the teams or your target teams at the end of the season. So that's kind of a bummer. And talking about rush, in career mode, it's a part of your youth academy with these 5v5 tournaments where you can play with your youth talents, take on other academies throughout world football, and do little knockout tournaments and fight for kind of upgrades for your youth players. But unfortunately, there are no competitions or no youth leagues that you can partake in. It's only these exclusive rush tournaments that kind of isn't realistic anyway. Players have been wanting something like this for ages when it comes to the youth academy, but actually like playing a full 11 versus 11 game, none of this utter woke 5v5 rush game mode nonsense. Like, this is isn't proper football. They could have gone the whole 9 yards and given us a fully fleshed out youth league with standings where you could track all the other CPUAI's academies. But unfortunately, we're just going to get these silly little tournaments for FC 25. Next up is the Champions League, where no, it hasn't been removed. EA still have the license, of course, but there will be no option to try a tournament phase in the group stage normal setting that we've been used to for so long now. We get the Swiss table format, which will be the new norm in career mode, or in the new Champions League tournament mode. There won't be an option to play through a retro group stage format. We're just going to have to kind of adapt to the new norm. And that's not only for the Champions League, that's for every single European competition. So Europa, Conference, they're all getting that Swiss format. And the only way you could play actual group stages is going back on the old retro FIFAs. I mean, you could always recreate the OG 32 team group stages in the normal tournament mode, but you're not going to get any of the licensing, any of the branding or broadcast packages. You're not even going to get the proper licensed trophy. So it's just not going to feel the same. Something else that has been highly requested has been the new subs bench. So the old one has been removed, but unfortunately it's not in career mode as of yet. Well, in the beta anyway, because there are supposed to be more subs on the bench, which I don't know why it's taken this long to finally add into the game. But instead of 7 players, there should be like 9 or 10 now. Apparently people have only see it in kickoff mode and not in career mode. So that is a major red flag. That's a major warning. I hope they fix that before full release, but the early signs aren't looking too good. Something else getting removed from the game is the old career mode menu with all the tiles and tabs you had to flicker through. Now we are getting a new refreshed minimalistic view. The interface, I don't know how to feel about it right now. It's kind of copying that new Ultimate Team menu they got last year in FC 24, and now I'm bringing it over and incorporating it into the career experience, both manager and player. I've heard good things about it. I'm just not sold because I just don't like the plain old background. It looks a little bit too minimalistic for my liking, a bit too dull, a bit too boring, so dark. I don't know. I just feel very uninspired. Like, bring back the old FIFA 16 and FIFA 15 backgrounds. At least they had a bit of character, a bit of color about them. And like, why can't career mode have its own menu? Why does it have to like merge into Ultimate Team and copy them? Anyways, another major feature of the menu being removed is the news tab, news tile cutscenes feature, where you could sort throughout all the news articles, international news, club news, transfer news, breaking news. That's now all replaced by the new social media feed, where you could scroll through. It just pops up on the right, kind of like TikTok in a way. You're just swiping through articles with Fabrizio Romano, The Athletic, announcing transfer news, or just in news in general about the team of the week, player of the month, manager of the month. So I guess that's something new to get used to, but we're gonna have to say farewell to the news tab feature that has been going strong for like 10 plus years. So it's about time we got a little refresh. Another aspect of the game that I didn't want to get refreshed and have a modern gaming spin is the OG catalog. You guys will know what I'm talking about. Last seen in FIFA 20, it was removed in FIFA 21, and now there are strong rumors and hints towards a new season pass or battle pass type way to unlock new cosmetics, celebrations, retro kits. And not only will there be one season pass, but there will be a paid premium season pass for people to access, and God knows what they're hiding behind the paywall. So not only are you going to have to buy the game at full price, but you're also going to have to spend more money for the season pass to access more cosmetics and random items in game, which again, back in the day, we could unlock throughout just playing the game normally. You didn't even have to play specific modes. Anywhere throughout the game you can make progress, and then you could redeem your catalog points to buy whatever you wanted. You'd have a certain experience meter, you'd have a level, your progress would carry over from the previous FIFA, and it would help you unlock more advanced items or more of the same item depending on what level you were. You actually had to earn things by playing the game, but now it looks like we're heading towards this microtransaction system, which I'm not looking forward to. Something else that I'm not too chuffed about right now is that there's some features for career mode that won't be ready for launch. And that's right, we're talking about the new live start points, which is where you can basically jump into the season at any point. You can hop in and take over any team in the top 5 leagues. It's limited, but still, it's a good idea at the core. A concept people have been wanting forever, and now we're gonna get it. But EA haven't really specified when it's coming to the game. game, because by the time the game drops, we're going to be about, what, 5-6 game days into the season. I don't know if they're waiting for like January or maybe like a couple of months to pass. The communication hasn't really been on point about this, but again, another reason to wait for a sale and not buy this game at full price, because you're not going to get everything on launch. Now, something else being removed is the old replay theater, but in this case, it's getting a lovely little facelift and upgrade, to say the least. It has been replaced by the new EA Sports highlighter mode, as they've claimed. We can go through and do a bit of video editing, a bit of photo editing, kind of just like any other basic photo mode you've seen in games like Spider-Man. However, an old feature from back in the day still isn't present in the game, and that was the replay theater. You're a real OG if you remember the replay theater, where you could save clips not only from in-game, but from the practice arena, and save kind of that moment to your huge catalog and huge library of clips from that specific FIFA, and go back and re-watch them, kind of there just as an archive. So we're gonna have to see if this new highlighter mode is really worth it, or it's just a little gimmick. The fantasy team AFC Richmond and their manager Ted Lasso from the hit show Ted Lasso is still removed from the game, and is specifically a FIFA 23 exclusive. It didn't carry over to FC 24 and won't be making a comeback in FC 25, so their stadium or the kits or the players won't be present in this year's game. And I can say the same for all the unemployed managers right now, and all the future managers this season that are going to get the sack later down the line. They won't be playable once they're sacked. Once they've been taken from the game, you can't access them again and play as an unemployed manager. They just get removed instantly. So I don't know, if Steve Cooper at Leicester is the first boss to get the sack, he'll be removed entirely from the game, and you won't be able to start a career save with him in the free agency without PC mods. The big news, or the big reveal this year for Player Career, was that you can now play with icons. However, there's a couple disclaimers that they didn't really boast about, and it's that not all icons are going to be available at launch. They're just going to like constantly update the game throughout the season and just change the icon roster throughout the game cycle, which is just weird. Why don't you just let everyone have access to all of them? Why do you have to like unlock them or wait for a new batch to drop? It's just kind of inconvenient. And there's only like 5 or so icons available at launch, so that's kind of a letdown, and you won't be able to use any icons in Manager Career. They just don't cross over, so I guess they're saving that for FC 26. Now, another major addition to FC 24 that won't be carried over into 25 is the Euros game mode, and I understand that it's not going to be a Euros year. However, just like in FC 24, career mode doesn't get any of the pageantry or the actual real-life trophy added, none of the broadcast package, none of the licensing. And again, that's going to be the same case with FC 25 career mode, because it'll just be an unlicensed trophy, that little silver vase thing that they haven't bothered updating for years now. The World Cup's going to be unlicensed, international management is in the gutter. That entire game mode, including Lead Your Nation and all the Euros branding, will be exclusive to FC 24, and we're not going to get another extra little free DLC update add-on until 2028. Career mode doesn't get the licensed Euros experience. I mean, the old pre-match intros are making a return, so maybe the national anthems are back, who knows? That's just speculation at this point. There are less than 30 nations in the game as a whole, a couple of unlicensed, Brazil is still missing. Like, international management is just a joke at this point. If you want to get the full licensed national management experience, you're just going to have to play the old retro standalone World Cup games at this point, because national teams in FC are just completely disrespected. They do not care about this side of the game whatsoever, and are just exclusively focused on new clubs and league licenses, and don't even bother about any of the nations. So it's another year of the Men's International Cup and the European Championship in career mode. For all you Creator Club fans out there are no Creator Club changes whatsoever, so you're still going to have generic goalkeeper kits. You can't create a fourth alternate kit. You can't build a stadium. You can't change your short colors. The only thing that I've heard about Creator Club is that there are a few new kit templates, maybe 10. I don't want to get your hopes up, but that's it. Not even a mention of it in the pitch notes and the career mode reveal. It's kind of like EA have just given up on the whole concept, which still needs so many more improvements. You can't import your own badge or Creator Club crest. It's still very bare bones right now. There is still no VAR in the game. However, it is mentioned in the new social media post, so you're gonna see it randomly tweeted out, or a random news article about a simulated game, about your game, that there was a VAR disallowed goal, or that there was VAR controversy, but it's not actually built into the game day experience, so you're not gonna see the referee go over to the pitch side monitor or a penalty call be reversed. There's gonna be no VAR drama for you to stress about in FC 25. Some OG commentary duos that were removed a couple years back, both Martin Martin Tyler and Alan Smith / Clive Tilsley and Andy Townsend stay removed. They kind of overstayed their welcome for like 10 years straight. EA decided not to renew their contracts and get them on again, so we have a couple of new commentary teams, but people just kind of miss Martin Tyler and Alan Smith cooking it up in the booth, and you'd have Clive and Andy doing it for the international matches. EA have actually removed some freedom when it comes to player creation, as there are new limitations with a 6'5" height restriction. That's the max height you can go. Apparently, it's just for pro clubs, but hopefully it doesn't carry over into career mode or just the normal create player functionality. Back in the day, you used to be able to create like 7-foot beasts, and now because people are abusing this aerial plus height meta, they've restricted how tall your created player can be. So again, giving less power to the player, which is a no in my book. Next up, this one is probably the one that stings me the most because they are already in the game. However, just don't carry over into career mode, and that is pro clubs and ultimate team features that would literally fit perfectly into career mode. And I'm talking about FUT Stadium customization, which is just so much more advanced, so much more intricate, and actually has insane attention to detail. And now this year, they can actually customize the stadium's exterior, which you could never really do before. They just have way many more options and just insane advanced customization that, you guessed it, won't be in career mode or create a club. For real, that is like the only thing I'm jealous of when it comes to Ultimate Team. And on the pro club side of things, they have the new club facilities and staff that they can purchase. Like, why don't career mode get that? You're just rubbing it in right now. And they get a cool locker room menu background with their customized kits, logos, banners everywhere inside, with the players getting ready and moving around in the background. Like, it just creates a certain aura, a certain vibe that the blank chalkboard new career mode menu doesn't give you. They've also had the trophy room feature for like over a decade now, which got revamped and looks absolutely brilliant in FC 24, and will feature again in 25, just like the fan number count and the club reputation level, which honestly would be a match made in heaven for career mode, but even more for create a club. Like, it's going to be 2 years without these features being transported over to career mode. Like, it's just an easy dub, copy and paste them over. But no, they're just going to hold on to them at ransom until next year and then slowly drip feed them into the game, when they should have been added to every game mode at the same time. Honestly, if those Ultimate Team and Pro Clubs features came into career mode and that was it, people would be happy. People would be satisfied, because when it comes to that kind of stuff to do with the stadium customization and looking at all your trophies, those have been highly requested features and are definitely needed to up the career mode experience, and does wonders for the immersion. If only those actual impactful additions got given the same energy as Rush, which according to EA needed to be added into everything at all costs. It had to be plastered all over FC 25 like a rash, but not features that people will actually use. I don't know. I'm not telling you guys how to do your job, but come on. I can't be the only person that sees this. Now, I'm not going to touch on the bleedingly obvious online career mode that still evades us, the most highly anticipated or requested feature, because it's been in other EA titles like Madden for over a decade now, but nevertheless, I just want to highlight that it's not only EA getting up to this tomfoolery of removing beloved fan favorite features. I want to spread the humiliation. I want to be a professional hater, not just on EA, but you can't forgive the likes of Konami. We had that famously bad PES to eFootball transition as they removed Master League and just drove their franchise into the ground by making it like a glorified mobile game. And now we have Sports Interactive, the developers behind Football Manager, and in FM25 has promised the biggest overhaul, the biggest changes to the game yet. However, have announced a long list of removed features, and here they are. They've removed the touchline shouts that you could yell out at your players mid-game, versus mode where you could take on a random or a mate 1v1, challenge mode, the social media feed, your email inbox, the data chalkboard, which I'm honestly not even aware of, but the big two at the end, the sucker punches, create a club, and fantasy draft. They won't be in FM25. I knew EA were capable of this, but FM? I keep hearing all the hype in the comments. Just play FM. I'm so glad I switched to Football Manager. It's way better than career mode. Well, if they're removing all these features, what's left? Not gonna lie, I didn't expect this from them. I'm low-key disappointed. I had high hopes for FM25, honestly, but now I don't really know how to feel. Anyway, those are all the removed features and things that won't be seen in FC25 career mode, so you might as well just stick with a modded experience of FC24 until some sales, until that price point drops, because because now with all that considered, with all that's removed in mind, it just ain't worth the money in my opinion. Just wait for Black Friday, wait for Christmas, and try cop it on a discount. Let me know down below if I've missed anything, and which removed features would you like to see back in future for FC26 and beyond. If you want more FC25 content when the game drops and just me telling the truth, telling it how it is, some retro FIFA sprinkled in and more, you know where to find me. Keep it locked and loaded on the channel. Drop it a like, hit subscribe, turn on the noties, baby. As always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Have a great day, and I'll catch you lot in the very next video. Bye bye.